If everyone walks around with their body weight printed on their forehead, everyone would be in good shape. You know, the fatties, they would be... Boom, guys, listen, we're back. Today I want to talk about an IG reel that I put up on my Instagram about 2 weeks ago, I think. And basically what I say in the reel is that if everyone walks around with their body weight printed on their forehead, everyone would be in good shape. You know, the fatties, they would be, you know, nicely trimmed down, you know, lose all the fat. The skinny boys will look like Greek gods, you know, build that muscle, right? I wrote in the caption there that pain and comparison and shame is such a good fuel, such a good motivator for you to actually improve your life and become who you want to be. And anyone who disagrees with that, let's you know, this is all about truth. Anyone who disagrees with that have not been through it. And they're probably not in where they want to be. Most likely. I started out, I was skinny, right? Super skinny just before I started training, before I started all this. And I looked at other people and was like, I looked at myself in the mirror and was like, this is not enough. And I don't care what area you want to develop in. It always starts with the realization of the problem itself. That's what any problem is. A problem, it's like, it won't be solved until you realize that's a problem. And the best way to realize the problem is to get direct feedback. And direct feedback for yourself usually comes in the form of pain. It usually comes in the form of suffering, of like humiliation even though that's not really a good thing, or this stuff can scar you. But I mean, that's kind of what's interesting about what's going on in here, because a lot of it is like mental scars that's just manifested itself into a great physique or wealth or whatever. But anyone who hasn't realized this already, or doesn't, you don't have to go that extreme to like think that is the solution to it. But it's more of just I don't know what the English word is for it. You can call it a metaphor for how important it is to actually go through those painful situations, the humiliation, the regret, all these emotions that we're trying to get rid of here, pain, suffering, humiliation, all this stuff. It's funny because it's actually the things that makes it grow the most when we look back at it. And in the moment, it's painful. It's super painful, and it hurts a lot, and it hurts us, and it can hurt the people around us too. Which is a shame, of course. And everyone knows this, because everyone always says like, well, give it some time and you probably won't feel that bad. Or I thought about this before I started the video too. Well, maybe it wasn't supposed to be. Something like that. Say stuff like this, right? And so they realize that everyone says that too when they see someone pain. Like, maybe it was for the better. Maybe you'll find something new, right? I know it hurts now, but it's not going to be like this forever, right? And so everyone realizes that it's not the end of the tunnel to feel those shame and, guilt and stuff like that. Everyone realizes that there's a next step to take. Except for people who really haven't been through it, right? Who haven't gone to that extent, who actually succumb to the fear and the negative emotions that brought onto them, right? Everyone is, except those, right? And it's really a good way to separate the winners from the losers. Because the winners in life, anyone who has done anything of any caliber, have been through that phase, right? Except the only difference between those and the complete losers out there is that they decided to take action on it. They decided to look at it as, okay, this is an opportunity. I'm feeling this way right now. Whether it was a breakup or whatever it was, I'm going to use this energy, to use this as motivation to fuel myself in whatever direction that is, right? Whatever direction that is, business, it's fitness. Fitness is usually the starting point. That's why I teach it so well, right? Because I've done it for a long time, and it started that way for me too. I realized I was skinny. I realized, hey, I need to change my life through this. And it's funny too, because the whole reason why I started to be honest was I was depressed for like a year, right? I was depressed for a year. I wanted to quit school and go and live in a hammock in Fiji, all right? This is a true story. That's why I say it so well, right? It's not made up. So I even went to like it was the school counselor for like people who had like I don't know what the hell it was. Anyways, complete tosser regardless. But yeah, I talked to him and I was like, yeah, I just want to quit and head over to Fiji and live in a hammock, right? And back then And now I realize I was a complete pussy back then, right? Complete loser mentality. But I was like that for a year, and then I realized, okay, let's get this show on the road, right? Start building that muscle. 10 years later, we're looking like weak gods. So, I mean, I had a phase where I was actually succumbed to that, pain, fear, the anxiety that was in me in so, a sense, in a way. And I just, distracting myself from it through other methods, right? Which I'm not gonna go into. No drug abuse, though. It's just stuff I really don't want to discuss, right? Because it's not my thing. No FAP and all that shit. It's not what I talk about in this channel. Everyone knows you shouldn't do it. I've gotten, requests in the past about, oh, can you do a video on it? I don't need to do a video on it. You know what you should do and shouldn't, alright? You just need to get after it. It's very simple. So, making videos on NoFap is not something you need to watch, right? You need to watch less stuff, apparently, okay? You need to get out there. So I succumbed to that fear, I succumbed to the anxiety, the fear, blah, 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 right? And I was a complete mess, right? Lazy and all this stuff, didn't help my family, all this stuff, right? So there's a hero's journey that is built upon that. Everyone has that part, and then there's a switch. Some people, they choose to flip the switch. Some people, they choose to not do the switch. I chose to do it. You chose to do it, most likely, because you're watching this video. These videos are made for the complete winners, right? Or people who are just in that era right now, and you need the switch. I'm telling you right now, it's the best day of your life to flip the switch. It's the best day in your life to go out there and try and achieve something. It doesn't have to be the most, it doesn't have to be the best, but it has to be something. It has to be something that you value, and that is slightly, uncomfortable. That requires a bit of discipline in order to get done. And once you just repeat that action over time, let's say 10 years, like myself, right? Something will happen. And it doesn't have to be 10 years. But you will look at the end, like you will see there, and you sit there and look in the mirror and be like, holy moly. This all started from that one time. Once the action, the dedication, and the decision that, stemmed from that point, now we're here, right? And it's the unfortunate truth that usually starts with a lot of pain and shame and all these stuff that we're saying is so bad, and it kind of depends on which area and where you're, like, where it comes from. There's certainly stuff out there that you shouldn't feel shameful for and shouldn't feel this and that and whatever, right? But it's there, right? What are we gonna do about it? It's like, yeah, you can try and find therapists and all that stuff and do anything like magical, but at the end of the day, we can use this as fuel to take our lives in whatever direction we want to. That's the beauty of it. But I've seen this, I've thought about this before too. The worse the pain, usually the better the victory. So it just comes down to the sacrifice, really, I guess. But because that's what I made my video about. Essentially, maybe people were probably alarmed when I made the video about how dark thoughts are not what you think or something. I made that, and it's about this, because there's stuff on my mind, there's stuff on your mind, there's stuff on everyone's mind that we're quick to dismiss and be like, no, I shouldn't think this way, I should think this way, while the truth of it is that we think this way. And instead of placing a judgment on what we think, we can rather look at the source of it, and we can track back and realize that, hey, maybe we're not where we're supposed to be. Maybe we could have done better. Maybe we could have done something differently. And we can work going forward from today, from whatever day you realize this, into creating something. That's the beauty of it. That's why I said that dark thoughts aren't what you think, because I don't think it's worth it to judge yourself twice. I don't think it's worth it, and it's something I deal with too. I don't think it's worth it to judge yourself twice, right? When you have stuff on your mind, right, and then you go ahead and feel the pain of that, are you now gonna go ahead and judge that and feel the pain again? Or are we just gonna accept that, hey, this is here, this is what's the deal, I'm feeling this way, this is what happened, I could have done better, let's go and fix it. Because it's very easy to get lost in this paralysis by analysis, and it's a very painful spiral to go down once you start analyzing your dark thoughts and thinking about, oh, I shouldn't feel this, why am I feeling this way? Other than just thinking, hey, you could have done better. But it's all nice to sit here and say, but it's very easy to sit here and say as well, but I think that's the best way of thinking about it, the best way of looking at it, stuff like that. And I don't want to come across as super vague or anything. I don't. There's a lot of people. There's so many people online now, and it gives so much vague advice. It's crazy. I try to not be vague. I try to be specific on actions to take. You see this all the time with these business people. They tell you, yeah, there's a part of the video. It's called a hook. It's called this. It's called that. And it's like, yeah, you're basically just repeating what everyone else is saying. Where's your originality, huh? And you don't even know what a good hook is. Anyone can say that. Anyone can hear that and be like, yeah, that's a good hook. Then you need a script for this part and this, that. You need a good hook. Blah, 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 blah. All this noise. Blah, 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 right? Everyone can sit there and say this stuff. And I guess it's not for everyone to sit here and actually give you actionable steps. But if it's one thing I would say, is to not dwell on those thoughts too much. And just let the pain be what it is. Jump on a treadmill and train. It's been a solution for me. It's worked. And it's worked for a lot of people I know too. They feel better. You look better. Their mind works better. And if you're actually trying to chase the thought, trying to get to the root of it, then I think you're doing yourself a disservice. All the stuff we try to chase, it's usually not a good thing, right? Chasing the stuff, because it just ends up being something you put way more effort into than you should have, while simply just dismissing stuff sometimes is probably easier and it'll come to you. But yeah, I don't want to drag it on for too long. Alright. You can take it as you wish, this video. You can look at it how you want. If you think that having the body weight on your forehead is a good thing, which I do seriously think that it will solve a lot of issues. But it is what it is, right? Each to their own. And yeah. Let's leave it at that. Just use it for what it is. The anger, the pain, right? And go and create something you're proud of. Something that will beat the shit out of the pain and anger you feel. That's usually the best way of going about it. Just win so hard that in the end, it didn't even matter, right? In the end, it became a product you're proud of. Alright? So with that, take care, and God bless. Boom!